So this is the type of weather you'll experience when you come up to Alaska. This was late May, and it's kind of a hailstorm rolling through on the road to Russian River. So always be ready for the unexpected. Welcome, it's Lumpy with Fool's Paradise Fishing, and as they say, it's called fishing and not catching for a reason. However, maybe we'll look at some ways to catch in this video. So today we're going to focus on the Russian River, and we're not going to, in the previous videos we talked about, the Seward Military Recreation Resort and the areas that you can go fishing around Seward. And today we're going to have you drive up the Seward Highway a little bit, jump over onto the Sterling Highway, and head on down past Cooper Landing. And don't forget to stop at Wildman's. Not an endorsement, just a good time. And then you'll come down to the Sportsman's Landing there. They put a lot of drift boats in there. It is paid parking, but that gets you to the Russian River Ferry if you don't mind spending a little money. And then that'll get you across the river over to the confluence of the Kenai River and the Russian. And we're going to focus on fishing that little bit of the Russian River that's south of the island and just east of the Russian River Ferry. So let's get started. All right, so what you'll see here is a series of pictures, and they'll show you kind of where to buy the tickets, how to get on the ferry, what the ferry looks like. It is Coast Guard inspected, and the people who are operating it are all Coast Guard certified. It is a contractor to the National Park or U.S. Forest Service there. There's a mix of it, so sometimes I forget which is what. And then where to go fishing on the Russian River and kind of where to stand the river. And then we'll also have a little bit about kind of technique on how best to catch fish using the Russian River flies. And again, you can just buy the flies. They're about $1 a piece. And I would buy a hook sharpener because the hooks are kind of thick. So for them, it's best to sharpen. And you want to have them as sharp as you can because of kind of how thick they are. They're difficult. They have a difficult time penetrating through the fish. So you really want to work on keeping them sharp. And then, there are some places to fillet fish there. They have some tables, about 2 or 3. And then the big thing is you want to break the fish up or cut them up and throw them into the river so that they flow down to the Kenai Lake or Ski Lake, I should say. This image gives you an idea what the parking lot and ticket booth for the Russian River Ferry looks like. It's just to the right of the image. And it's about $10, $12. We'll see what it is for this year. It's a short walk from the ticket office down to the ferry, and they got a little bit of a dock there, so no problem getting your stuff down there. As you can see, it's a Coast Guard inspected boat. There is no motor. There's a cable that goes from one side to the other, and they steer it into the current and it drives you there. This is what the confluence looks like, and as you can see, the kind of green silty water and the clear water, you want to be fishing right at the edge. This is a graphical depiction of it, so you know what to expect. We'll be fishing on where the B is and in the small part of the river. This is a better picture. Sometimes I say, yeah, they fish right by the fish run up right by the shore, but in this case they don't. They're right on the seam there. And very unusual, I hooked a hook in a fish's mouth. I'm saving that thing because that's like a 1 in a trillion thing. That'll never happen again. So we got Ranger Rick here fishing, and as you can see, he's looking upstream, see if anybody's catching and if the fish are coming up. And then he's throwing across and pulling up. He probably needs to let the weight drop a little bit more because as you can see, it's about knee deep, 18 to 24 inches. And then as he comes back towards the shore, he kind of need to load up the rod because you really got to set that hook because as you saw from the previous image, the hooks are thick and you got to keep them sharp. So really load up the rod right there and that'll help set the hook. And you can catch. The day we went out there, it was limits of 3. This image is from a different day when you could get 6. And as you can see, there's stairs down to the confluence. And that day, the river was high and not a lot of people. It was early in the season. The river will get lower and a little bit easier to fish. And this was the fish we caught that day. And we'll talk about the rod with the red line. I don't recommend spinning rods. So one of the pictures that you're about to see or have seen shows some fish with a spinning reel that has red line on it. So this is that spinning reel here, and this is up here because after summer of using it, it pretty much tore up the guts of inside the reel. So I bought these in a pair just on mail order. They're carbon fiber, or they're not metal, they're hard plastic. However, the interior just got tore up when you're trying to reel that stuff in. So that's why it's best to use either a bait caster or a fly rod. And again, if you're just going up there for a little while and you're using the Seward Military Recreation Site gear, don't worry about it. They maintain them. They'll take care of it. If you're bringing your own gear up, I stick with a bait caster 9-foot rod or a 6, 7, 8, 9 fly rod with a reel that's got some pretty good drag. And that way, you're not tearing everything up, especially your wrist, elbow, shoulder, with the arthritis, tinnitus, bursitis. And you want to take care of yourself. Especially if you're going to be up there. I've seen people up there for a month or two, so that's why you want to get as lightweight and sturdy as you can. If you got the money, go over to Soldotna Hardware. Soldotna Trustworthy Hardware. They got good prices, and they have their own line of 2-piece Kenai red rods from Okuma. I got one with a Redington Behemoth, but during the fishing season, I'm out fishing 60 to 80 days. I just had to fill out a survey of how much I was fishing that I got tagged by Alaska Department of Fish and Game. So you may get one too later on. You never know. But if you do, just remember where you fished and fill it out. So this is Ranger Rick and Nick the Net. And as you can see, one got limits, one almost got it. So it was a good early season day. All right, that's all we have for today. And remember, it's called fishing and not catching for a reason. This is Lumpy with Fool's Paradise Fishing, and we'll see you on the river.